So as FC25 is literally out in the next 8 to 9 days, depending on which version you've got, I thought it'd be an interesting point to go, how do you start the best? What's the way that you actually start the game? Is there a specific thing to do that you want to do straight away? Because most definitely, there's not necessarily a wrong way, but there is inefficient ways as such. So when you first log into the game, you will obviously have to pick a nation. That, to be honest, now kind of used to, well, it used to be a way that you'd pick English or Brazil or go for somebody that has a very unique nation, because then you can finish a lot of the SBCs with as many of them bronze players as possible. Normally, I would just go with English, and then if we still have the same badges and kits that do sell, it's always good to go for what you deem the most expensive team. So for instance, if you've got a Liverpool, any national, especially major nations like Spain, England, France, Brazil, if they've got any of them badges or actual club kits, then you want to get them, because normally they are tradable. They could potentially start off your coins, and obviously if you've already done the web app and also companion app, you might be able to have got some coins by then. So once you're in there, you're in the game. You've got yourself your bog standard kits. You can sell off anything that you need, and sometimes they do sell, sometimes they don't. It depends if they're tradable or untradeable. The way that FC is going in general, I don't see there being a tradable thing going forward as we go into SBCs and packs nowadays. And pretty much any promo pack that you open is going to be untradeable because it has the better rewards as such in it. If you're looking for FC25 coins, Lootbar have started their first subscription service. You can go onto their website and subscribe for FC25 coins, and with this you'll be sent an email that gives you an extra 5% off on your very first order. This is in addition to the 8% off coupon that is available on your one order to start with. Then from there, you have got Lootbar being one of the cheapest in FC24, and then continuing to be one of the cheapest on the market for FC25. So with all that said and done, subscribe to Lootbar now and enjoy 5% off discount when we get into FC25. So, you logged into the game, you finished the normal SBC to unlock everything else, because you normally have to finish the beginner one first. So for instance, if I was to take you into FC25, you will then go into what is the foundations. Normally you have foundation 1, and you'll have to finish that first before you do anything else. This is normally in every single Ultimate Team, so it is just predominantly getting you into doing SBC. So if you've never done them before, all you've got to give up is 1 player, 2 players, 3 players, and 4 players. Then you get into the good stuff, because then the main objective is either objectives, it will be evolution cards whilst doing this, and then it'll also be these other foundations into then the hybrid leagues, nations, and Liga Nations hybrid, because these do give you quite a decent amount of packs. Normally it's mega pack, 50k pack, rare mega pack, even potentially 100k pack they have done in the past. So they are very, very good to get to start with. So what I would suggest straight away is getting your team together. Now, you will have 4,600 points if you have done the Ultimate Edition, if you've bought the Ultimate Edition, because obviously that's just one of the ways that they do it. The early access and obviously the points do tend to actually equal the value of what the actual game is increased by. For instance, if you was looking at the difference between, say, a £65-70 game and a £95 game, normally the 4,600 points tends to be worth it. If you have a look at the points here, we've got things to deal with, we'll just get rid of them. You will see that the value of them are actually pretty good, and even though they technically can't, it doesn't cost them anything, at least for instance if you are looking at this like dollars wise, you're looking at 4.5 between these, so you're looking at about 55-ish to make, yeah, about $55 if anything, which is roughly what, about £45 give or take. So that really, or 35 I think that might be, that's roughly the value of just the increase anyway, let alone getting the lovely early access and all of the other stuff, the loans, some campaign players. We obviously got the foundation evolution before, which was just an extra bonus that I don't think we'll get this time round. So then, once you've gone into there, you'll obviously have the evolutions to do. If you're opening packs with the points, then obviously that's a good thing as well. I would just go ahead and do it straight away. You might as well get the packs out the way with it. there is a couple of ways that you could spend the points, and we'll kind of really dive deep on these in another video, because I'll kind of go through and explain and show the methods on what basically FC24 would be like in terms of going for packs, drafts, going for or waiting for promo packs or just normal gold packs. And to be honest, if you're looking for coins, sometimes, not in the recent years of FC24, but 23 and 22, silver packs were a decent one as well, because of the league SBCs wasn't a bad thing to spend your points on. So there is different ways to go about it. I can imagine a lot of people will just go straight for packs. That's just naturally going to be the course of action. And on day dot, we tend to get promos straight away anyway. So we kind of already forced or herded into that kind of pack market straight off the bat, which means you could get potentially some gold players together, which again is going to let us do the hybrid league and nations, maybe a couple of upgrades, and going forward like that. So when we are looking at the foundations, predominantly you're going to be looking at these two first, because they are technically going to be the easier ones. Normally it's going to be the leagues more so than anything. This is just basically utilizing, say, 5 from the exact same, or 5 leagues exactly. Then you've got to have from the same nation the minimum or max 4. You've then got to have 1 club max 4, but then you've got to have some chem, and the team overall rating isn't that bad. So potentially doing bronze packs might pay you off. Obviously doing potentially the not the leagues, the nation of English is going to work out. You've got Prem, English 2, English 3, and English 4. I don't think we have 5 now because Wrexham have gone up 1, but then there's multiple English bronze, silvers and golds throughout pretty much most of the major and minor leagues now, so you should be able to find players from everywhere, and it just ramps up that little bit more every time. And then you've got to do 11 exact leagues with 1 nation in it. You've got to have the 27 chem. They normally do this every time, and I believe we've already got confirmation that this is going to happen again for next year, or at least in the next 9 days. So they're going to be a big push to start with. They give you them big packs, get them in there, and you could potentially get something big from them. Once we've done all them SBCs, normally I wouldn't necessarily bother too heavily on gold upgrades, because I do find that now, pretty much on a religious scale, on a completely repeatable scale, every Monday we get upgrade packs, and I can imagine this year's going to be no different. We are definitely getting upgrade packs day dot on the Monday, and we will just continue along that pattern every single day, well, every single week in fact. So that I wouldn't necessarily go and blow all my gold cards in there, because it will help with marquee matchups every week, which is a good thing, but that's going past kind of the start of the game. But the way you want to build your squad, that's going to be the interesting one, because what a lot of people do is just go straight for Prem. It's easy, everybody knows more of the Prem than anything, and to be honest, they do have, or they normally have the better, it's kind of like the better lower rated players, but I think it is just the fact that you might know more of the lower rated players than, for instance, Ligue 1. It's just bound to happen, and they do normally tend to be better. It just so happens to be that way. And then you rank up through the Prem, eventually you get your first icon, your first hero, and then your team just evolves from SBC to SBC to big player packed to maybe some coin influxes on that as well. So I would normally go with a very bog standard cheap squad, depending on how many points I'm spending. Obviously, I'll spend quite a few to start with, and then I really kind of wean it off as we go through the game, because once you've got that kind of real nailed down first squad, you don't really need to buy too much then. Then it would just be either for videos buying a very specific pack. If they give us a 4 or 5 icon pack, then maybe for a video it might be worth it. But in general, I don't think it is necessarily worth it, especially past Christmas at the minimum, because then you've pretty much got everything you need. I'd probably say Team of the Year would be the last time you really need to even spend points, and then you could just coast the whole way anyway. But then when it comes to building your team and just what to do in the first couple of days, objectives is always going to be a big one. We tend to get the 500 goals and 500 assists, which you can do on beginner squad battles, and you could ramp it up to like 20 minutes a game or 5 minutes a game, and you could just score as many goals as possible, and it would take you like 10-11 matches to be able to get, say, like, what, 40 40, 50 goals per game if you are doing really well. And then obviously you can get them 2 packs as well. But it would just be finishing as many objectives as possible, getting through that season pass and making sure the evolutions are being done, because I can imagine we will get a founders or a starting striker that we can use. They tend to always do that. So this year more than likely is no different. And apparently there's going to be more emphasis on the starting evolutions as well, a more inclusive vibe when it comes to actually putting evolution players in together. So that would be my main start into the game. It is going to be just getting into them SBCs, knocking out as many as possible, using or utilizing your 4,600 points, getting any objective done before the first promo, building your team, starting to really get it out there. If obviously you are utilizing loans, I would normally do that once either we get into the first champs, maybe into a very kind of qualifying rivals match, or then obviously just grinding through the game as normal. If you need him for an objective, or you need him for potentially like scoring 100 goals with an 87 rated team, you could whack him on the bench for the higher rated. That is always a great way to go forward. But also remember that Rivals is slightly different this year. So the highest division you got into last year is where you're going to start, and you can downgrade as you go along if you want to, or if you are in a higher division than you should be. But that's pretty much all I'd do to start FC25. I think that would be, for me, the best way that you can go about it. If you're obviously getting more points, then that's just extra packs you open, easier SBCs to do, more chance of a better squad, and you could just continue on as normal as we go. But duplicates, I would say gold upgrades as well before I remember that, because obviously I said no gold upgrades. But if you do get a decent amount of duplicates in a pack, then obviously put them in the gold upgrade or any SBC that you do see fit. But on that, make sure you like and subscribe, and FC25 will be here very soon. Peace.